I failed in my first business. Well, technically it was my second business, but that's a story for a little later in this video. But what we're going to be talking about is why that failure was the best thing that ever happened to me. If you're new here, my name's Tanya. I'm a musician, blogger, passive income, and SEO specialist. And in today's video, we're going to talk about why failure is actually a good thing and how you can use your failures to 10 times your income. So I teach private music lessons. I have taught a thriving private music studio since 1997. I've mastered studio building. I've built a studio to waitlist status in 3 different times in 3 different cities. I even have courses on it, and I'll link those in the description below if that's something you're interested in. So where does failure come in? Well, I decided to start my very first business. And I say that in air quotes because technically I've been running a business since 1997. But at the time that I started this new business, I didn't consider what I did a business. And that was a big mistake. My friend and I decided as private music teachers, we could not scale our current business model because there's only so many hours in the day. So we decided to open our very own music school. So let's talk about where the failure part comes in. First of all, we had no idea what we were doing. The local Chamber of Commerce was hosting a class for new business owners, and it was free, so we went. They gave us all of these handouts, and they talked to us about all these things you need to do when running a business. Here's the thing though, those business owners running that class do not understand creative business. They have no idea what the inner workings of a service-based business is. So instantly we were led in the wrong direction. But we were geared up, we were ready to go. We went and we got ourselves a business license. We opened a business bank account. I put in the seed money to get us started, and I was in charge of recruiting and social media, and she was in charge of all of the paperwork. Because let's face it, she kept using hashtag enrichment on Twitter. And if anyone has ever searched the hashtag enrichment on any platform, you see dog treats. That's not what we were offering. Social was clearly more my area of expertise and paperwork was hers. So we did what we thought was necessary. We held an open house for our music studio at a local church. We got a few students to sign up and we thought we were on fire. The problem started with communication. It was okay, but it wasn't great. For example, my business partner would call and say, I don't like the burner phone that we got. I upgraded it to a smartphone. It's easier to use. Or we needed some bookkeeping software, so I went ahead and bought QuickBooks for us. Now, all of these could potentially be good business decisions, but no discussion was ever had. It was just the decision was made, and since she did the back end side of things, she felt those were her decisions to be made. I still had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of rolled with it. I didn't like the idea, but what was done was already done. As time went on in this business, contracts with our teachers expired. They were not renewed. Teachers then went on to take their students in the music school with them, which their contract strictly forbid. However, since that contract wasn't renewed, they were able to do it with no legal ramifications. After a little over a year, we agreed that this business was not for us and we were going to close the business. I got my seed money back and then we split whatever was left in the bank account. We left with about $500 each. So technically, the business wasn't a complete failure as we were in the black and not the red. But when you count in the hours we put into that business, we certainly did not make our money's worth out of it. So now let's talk about what I learned from this experience, this business failure. Well, first of all, I learned that I did not want a business partner. I wanted to run the show myself. Now, luckily we were friends and we still are friends. We agreed that it just didn't work and all was fine. I also learned the business model we were trying to set up was doomed from the beginning. The first mistake we made was we were trying to hire the best expert teachers out there, which is great in theory, except the amount of money we would have had to charge our clients in order to employ these musicians was more than our clients were willing to pay. What we were left with were teachers that were constantly complaining about low wages, constantly asking us to raise their rates, and whining all the time when we wouldn't. Now, 47-year-old me would just look at this teacher and say, look, I'm sorry, this is the rate we're paying. This is what we can afford to pay. And if that's not enough for you, I completely understand and you are welcome to go. And we really should have targeted college students as our teachers because that was a rate that they would be happy to earn. But unfortunately, young me was a people pleaser and kept trying to make them happy without raising their rates, giving them empathy. Oh, I understand, but this is what we can pay. And all it did was frustrate everyone involved. I also learned that while we were targeting the right audience, homeschool children, we had no idea what homeschool parents actually wanted for their kids. We were providing them with private music lessons, but in reality, what these parents actually wanted was a chance for their students to have social interaction with other kids, and that is not something that we were able to provide. In short, we were not hitting their pain points, and we just didn't do our proper market research in the beginning. This business was doomed to fail from day one. But that failure turned out to be a huge blessing to me because as you run any business, there are a lot of mistakes you make along the way that you learn from. And I learned so much from this business that went on to help me now with my coaching business and my private music studio. I use the lessons that I learned to improve my own business model and all of my future business models to make all of my businesses much more successful. So how did I do that? Well, the first thing I did was with any new business I started, any new course I created, my membership, etc., I did my market research. I identified who my target client was, and I did market research to find out what their pain points were. How did I do this? I got out there and I talked to them in person. I listened to what they said. I then used their exact same language in my marketing. By doing this research, I knew that I was walking into a business model that would make money from day one and not constantly be back and forth in the red, in the black, in the red. I was set up for success from the very beginning. I also learned not to spend money on your business unless it's something you truly need. Now, I'm not telling you not to invest in your business because I do invest in my businesses, and sometimes I invest before I'm really ready to because I know it's the right thing to do. But did we really need that smartphone? Probably not. Did we really need bookkeeping software for our 4 clients at the time? Absolutely not. Those were expenditures that were not necessary. Oh, and my favorite was when, without asking me, my business partner went out and spent $50 on 1099 forms for our employees, where in reality we could have downloaded them free online. But I'm not mad about it. These are all lessons learned. I myself would not have known where to find those 1099 forms. I can't blame her when she saw them at the office supply store and bought them so that we could give them to our employees. Every single failure you make in your business is a lesson that you learn. And the final lesson that I learned from this entire experience is to hire help before you can afford to do so. Because if we had even paid a tax expert a consulting fee, we would have found out that all of this wasn't necessary and we probably would have saved money in the long run. Now, I go ahead and outsource help in my business before I'm really ready to, because every single time I've done that, my business growth has exploded. My YouTube channel subscriptions have gone up 800% this year because I hired a YouTube strategist to edit my videos and help me brainstorm new ideas. So outsourcing help is very important, but make sure you're outsourcing the right kind of help. And I will even have my strategist link her information in the description if you're looking for one. She is amazing. When it comes down to it, as you're running your business, you learn along the way, and that is an essential part of business growth and development. So every single failure you make is a lesson that helps propel your business forward. So before you get really frustrated with your failure, try to detach yourself from the emotional side of things. Sit down and look at what you can learn from that failure and how it can help you in the future. Now, I want to know, what is your biggest business failure? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn how not to fail in business, check out this video with these books that have helped me along the way. And until next time, peace out.